We are live.
Hello.
Hello, everybody.
Good to see you all. Welcome. Good afternoon, and happy Father's Day. Father, happy Father's Day.
Thank you. My first Father's Day
As a priest, is that right?
as a priest. Yeah, because last year Father's Day came before the ordination.
Oh, right. Oh, my gosh.
So,
yeah.
first one.
Yeah. So that's very cool. So, by the way, congratulations on your anniversary for Monday.
Coming up on Monday.
Yeah.
One whole year.
What?
And then your anniversary is tomorrow.
Tomorrow's my anniversary, 34.
34.
I was 12 when I was ordained. So happy Father's Day to all our
Yes.
fathers. And, we were just chatting a little bit about our fathers. You had a little something.
Yes.
About
So, I've got some Father's Day trivia. So, we'll see how good Father Gary is on Father's Day
that?
trivia.
Okay.
So, according to Hallmark, Father's Day is the what largest card sending holiday from like first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, from 1 to 10th.
1 to
Father's
10?
Day falls into which in that rank?
I bet it's pretty low.
Do you think?
9?
9? According to Hallmark, Father's Day is the fifth largest.
Oh gosh.
card sending holiday.
I should have been more optimistic. Sorry, dads.
Yeah. Let's see. What is the most popular and number one gift for Father's Day?
A shirt.
A shirt? They're pretty close.
Tie?
A tie.
Oh, okay.
A necktie. Followed by hammers and golf clubs.
Oh, okay. All right.
So-
There you go.
I know.
Yeah.
What is the official flower for Father's Day?
Carnation?
Rose.
Really?
I know.
I would have thought that would be for Mother's Day.
Yep. A
Huh.
rose is worn in the lapel if your father is living.
Or lapel.
Oh, lapel.
Lapel.
And a white rose if the father is deceased. So,
Oh, that's cool to know. I should get a
Mhm.
white rose then. Yeah, because
Yeah.
actually, when I think of my ordination, I also think of my dad because I was ordained on June 21st. And then 4 months later, October 21st was when he died. We weren't expecting that. You know, he had a heart attack. But anyway, so my dad was, as I mentioned in the homily, he actually is influential in my vocation. So can't help but think of my priesthood and my dad together.
Yeah.
Even though as a kid I was afraid of him.
I just learned this.
So, you know, my dad was a logger, so he's kind of a burly guy. He'd come home. I didn't see him in the morning because he'd leave early. And so I'd be with my nice mom all day long.
Oh, yeah.
And then this dirty guy, burly, he was kind of tired and cranky, and all he wanted was a cup of tea and a cigarette. He didn't want to talk to anybody. He was like, "Ooh,
Mhm.
I'll just stay away."
Oh, gosh. All right, last one. What president signed Father's Day into public law to make it permanent?
Ooh, that's a good question. I bet it might have been within the last century, I'm guessing. How about, I'll just take a wild guess. Franklin Delano Roosevelt.
No. 1972, Richard Nixon.
Ooh, Tricky Dicky.
Yep.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, he improved our relationship. Some people argue, but with China while he was president. So,
Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah. So I guess like the first presidential proclamation honoring Father's Day was issued in 1966 when President Lyndon Johnson designated it, and then it was signed into public law by President Nixon.
Wow, I should have remembered that. I was old enough to, but I guess it's just already celebrating Father's Day anyway. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's a little
That's
Father's Day
something.
trivia.
yeah. Wow,
Huh?
more recent than I would have thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Mother's Day is quite a bit older than that.
Hmm.
I think it started in the 1880s or something, and then
Mm-hmm.
became official in the early part of the 20th century. So,
Yeah. So,
En México es igual or diferente?
Father's Day is igual, the same.
The same.
Hmm?
Yeah.
So Father's Day falls in the same. Mother's Day is different, but
And Mother's Day is different. Yeah. All right. So again, happy Father's Day. Well, we got all kinds of. Hello, Kaya.
Michael also. Hi, Michael.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Father Gary and Father Carlos. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Same to
Michael.
you, Sherry. Hi, Don. Don, you've been a rock star helping out a lot, so thank you for that.
Yes.
Especially for the.
We had some beautiful celebrations for the Sacred Heart in Juneteenth yesterday.
Yes, we did.
Yes, I wasn't able to be present for the Mass in the morning, but Father Carlos, we had that, and
I did.
Nice turnout.
Yeah, nice turnout. People were there to pray, to receive the Eucharist, and to be transformed. That's where transformation begins.
Yeah.
And it was beautiful to see the whole community united, knowing that this is a issue and something that needs to be seriously talked about and prayed for. So
yeah, it's only then that we can really live in the actions that we need to live, the changes that we need to live, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And getting to pray, with the Sacred Heart, it's never been a devotion for me, but praying with that as I was preparing for yesterday, I found it really meaningful. So I think I might have found
a new devotion.
Yeah.
It was really amazing. Just the prayers, the readings. Even I read through the Litany of the Sacred Heart yesterday, and if you look through the lens of the experience that we've had lately, all those words take on new meaning, for sure. And it just seems to me that this is the way God works. That through our beautiful Catholic faith. I don't know if I've shared this with you, Father Carlos, but when I was in the seminary, one of my professors at St. Meinrad was actually internationally known as a church historian, and especially for Black Catholics in the United States, Father Cyprian Davis.
Okay.
So he died a few years ago, African-American Benedictine. And one of the things that he said and of course he told the whole history of the Catholic Church, so the good, bad, and the ugly. And, there were bishops, there were priests who owned slaves. We treated the Catholic Church with segregation. The blacks had to oftentimes be in other parts of the church, the back pews, or even the choir loft, couldn't sit with the whites, all that sort of thing that actually happened. And yet he once said this, that the Catholic Church really has, of all the Christian churches, has the most to offer for the African-American population. And I thought, wow, that's pretty powerful. And that's sort of, I was thinking that those words were ringing in my ears as we were praying the Sacred Heart. That how beautiful that feast is and powerful it is.
When you said that, it reminded me, I heard when I went down to Bellingham on an immersion trip to learn about the Black Catholic community of the Birmingham area, their experience during the Civil Rights Movement. And one of the presenters made the comment, he said, if the Catholic Church would have been accepting and would have fought alongside of us, probably, because now the majority of our Black brothers and sisters are Baptist, because that was the church that fought for them. He said, if the Catholic Church would have been the one, I think most of our African-American Black community would be Catholic.
Yeah, but even so, there are 2 million Black Catholics in the United States. We often think there aren't that many, but if you add it all up, there are. So that's bigger than a lot of Protestant denominations in the United States. So that's just something to keep in mind. So thank you very much for those who are gathered and prayed in any way for the Sacred Heart and for Juneteenth yesterday.
Amen.
We got lots of comments coming in.
Yeah, from Chris. Do you know when indoor masses will restart?
Well, we have the hope that we will start in July. Maybe the first weekend of July, but of course, just like with anything else, we have to go through all the steps, the application to the Archdiocese, and get the approval to show that we're following all the requirements that we need to follow. But it's very hopeful now that we're in phase 2. And so what I understand is that we will be able to gather in the church with 200 people at each Mass. So that's a big win for us. So we're grateful for that. Step in the right direction.
Yeah.
And this next weekend, you might have heard in the announcements that we're going to increase by 2 masses next weekend outside. So a 7 p.m. Mass on Saturday evening in Spanish, and then 9 a.m. in the morning in English.
Mhm.
So that'll offer more opportunities as well.
Yeah. From Don, gotta say, I loved both of your homilies yesterday. It was very moving being at both masses. Could you do a brief recap of your homily for those who were not able to attend yesterday?
Sure. Yeah. You want to go first? Or
Go for it.
You want me to go
Yeah,
first?
let me do a
Okay.
recap.
So I just basically started out. I have really good news to share, and the good news about the Sacred Heart of Jesus and the faith of our church, what the love that's just poured out upon us from His side, and we experience that through baptism and Eucharist, and then and that love is being poured out right now in this time, in the middle of the pandemic, in the middle of everything that we're going through, and just how ugly racism is. It's become, I use the phrase, it's become the air that we breathe, the polluted air that we breathe in this society. And so we really need Jesus to cleanse the air for us, so that we can live actions of love. That was about it.
Yeah, I focused on. Well, I began, by saying, the heartbeat works, but it beats about 77 million times a year to keep you alive, right? And looking at the heart of the Sacred Heart of Jesus, using that same image, how much more does it beat to keep us alive, and what does that mean? It beats every day to keep us from things like this, that what's happening, right? It keeps us. It's working hard. It's beating hard to keep us from killing each other, to keep us from seeing each other as rivals, to keep us from seeing somebody else as inferior as somebody else. So that was the focus of that, and how then that beautiful Sacred Heart of God does that by showing us just how much love the Father has for us, in Jesus, and then that becomes the heartbeat that we share. So then we have that heartbeat of Christ. So that should be the same blood that flows through our veins. So that's kind of like the focus that I took down.
Yeah, it's a powerful image.
Yeah.
Very powerful. One thing too that I also mentioned is that just that genetically there really is only one race, the human race, and then we have all these beautiful differences, and then we make all these distinctions in such a way that it causes fear to see someone different, and then that fear leads to oppression, and that oppression, when we look at it from the differences of skin color, we call it racism, and it's a sin against life. Yeah,
very true.
All right.
Let's see.
Mary Ellen. Thank you, Mary Ellen, for the prayers.
Don, Father Carlos, thank you for doing the Mass at NPH Seattle Institute for Students. Yes.
Could you tell us a bit about that?
Yes, I can. So many of you know NPH is a program organization that many of our parishioners are involved with.
Nuestros pequeños hermanos.
Nuestros pequeños hermanos, our little brothers and sisters. And there's a institute chapter, I'm not sure what they call it, here in Seattle. And 9 months ago, exactly 9 months ago tomorrow, I got to do the welcome Mass for the students who were here for their internship. And that was a great experience. And so they invited me today to be able to do their closing Mass, because they graduated today. They did their ceremony. And it was at Guadalupe. That's where they were able to find space to host a Mass. So I went over there for that. I got to see the students, and got to hear a lot of their stories, their experience. And it was great. I wish I would have been able to experience more of the NPH family throughout their process, but I'm happy to have celebrated that moment with them.
Yeah. And many of you remember that Father Tom was very, very involved in NPH. And I've had some involvement too, and I actually am a padrino, so I have a pequeño. So actually my third one. So yeah. So I guess in that sense I'm not only a father by sacrament, but by adoption.
By adoption. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Happy Father's Day from Jordan.
Thank you, Jordan.
Very much.
Yeah.
Yes.
Appreciate it.
There's back at Jordan.
Great. Yeah. Any memory? I don't know if I'm offing at the top of the head, but any memory of your dad that sticks out for you? Or?
Yeah, there are some. As many of you know, since I was little, my dad would be traveling back and forth. So I got to spend a very little time with him. But I do have memories of we had a store. I remember what he liked to eat.
Yeah.
So he was very creative. He did carpentry, stonework.
Mm.
I think one of my favorite memories of that is he was helping my sister create this bear out of a rock.
Gee.
And this was like pretty hard rock. And he created this beautiful bear just by filing it, just by filing. So he would do things like that. He had an incredible patience, super creative, very artistic. And, you know, in many ways, even though I didn't grow up with him in a very close way and I didn't get to encounter him much other than a few memories that I have, those that I do have, I'm like, I have a lot of my dad, you know, a lot of, even my mom would say, you have a lot of his quirks and yeah. And also the creative side, I think that comes from my dad. So yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of memories I can share about my dad.
Yeah.
One was, we worked in the woods together my 4 years of college, and that just wasn't my talent. And I really tried his patience a number of times. And there was the summer I graduated from high school. Well, first of all, on his birthday, I cut my leg with a chainsaw. So then I had several weeks where I was recuperating. Then he and I were just working on a logging site, preparing for the winter site. So we were building road together, and it was just above my grandparents' place near Deming. And anyway, I could go on and on about the things that happened, but finally I was getting to the point where he was having confidence in me, running the Caterpillar and doing what I was supposed to do. So anyway, we had these Suburbans. Loggers call them crummies. So anyway, I couldn't get the crummy to start. So anyway, it was on a slight incline, and I was trying to. And he said, "Okay, well, I'll push it with the cat, and let out the clutch, and it should start." So I did it 3-4 times. It didn't happen. So he got off the cat, and he said, "All right, let me try." And so then I pushed it one time, and it started right away. And when my dad would get mad, he'd throw his hat on the ground. So he got out of the chrome and he threw it on the ground, and he said, "Gary, you didn't have the key on." Look at this! You dented up this nice crummy. Well, I think it was 15 years old. It was, Oh gosh! So these things would happen, and of course, he worked like 10 hours a day on this, and he wasn't going to pay me time and a half, so I worked only 8 hours and went home. So anyway, I go home and tell my mom these stories, and we'd. Oh gosh! Imagine. Poor dad. I really tested his patience.
Well, how many siblings are you?
There's 6 of us. Well, I have 5 siblings, so 6 of us all together, and I'm the oldest. But my brother Bruce is the one who had all these talents just naturally. So I probably shouldn't say this on a live thing, but it was a long time ago. So anyway, when my leg was recuperating, and Dad needed to start this job of building the road, he got Bruce going. So I was 18. Bruce was only 14. So he was breaking all kinds of state laws. But Bruce just knew automatically how to run a Caterpillar, how to do everything. It just naturally came to him. So he had Bruce, for I don't know what it was, 3 weeks, and then he got me. Oh gosh. So anyway,
and that's how you became a priest.
Yeah, I was already in the seminary, but he was really praying hard that I would keep going back. Oh gosh. Oh yeah, you're welcome, Don, for our support to TMPH.
You're welcome. Yeah.
Yeah, great. Yeah, it's been a long time passion of St. Louis, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was here 3 years ago when they had one of the dinners or benefits dinner.
Oh yeah. Was that at the Maiden Bower?
Yeah. That was my first exposure to MPH, and
Yeah.
This is a great program. So
Yeah, and it started out so simple. With oh darn it, now I'm going to forget the priest's name who started it. But anyway, he's early 50s, and it just started like he saw a child on the street, and he decided, man, I just got to start somewhere with these orphans that are on the street, and it just grew into now it's. I believe it was in Mexico where it started, but it's in numerous countries in Central America as well as Mexico and then in Haiti as well.
Father William Watson.
There it is. Thank you, Father William Watson. And actually his memorial service was at St. Anthony's. It died maybe 15 years ago, something like that. So, yeah, great man.
Yeah.
1954 in Mexico. Don, you got all the information right at the fingertips. I remember that it was in the early 50s. I guess closer maybe to mid 50s. But yeah, tremendous man. And it's great work.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
Father, you're taking some days off.
Yes, I'll be gone starting tomorrow afternoon and be gone. Originally, it was going to be Wednesday, but now thank you for your prayers for my cousin Jim Williamson, who passed away yesterday. His great nephew is J.J. Kelsbeek, who's one of our seminarians. So anyway, I'll be with my family at the graveside on Thursday, so I might come back a little earlier than what I planned. Don, you drank the Kool-Aid. I guess that means that the MPH caught you.
Yep.
Yeah. So I'll be away for a few days just to get a little break. So I look forward to that.
Yeah, once I get the house to myself.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and Brody is up at his home parish of Sacred Heart in Bellingham. They're celebrating the feast on Sunday since it's their I guess you would say patronal feast. Yeah,
I'll have a wild party. Literally, I'm gonna party like an animal,
and the animals will be all over the house. I hope I don't find little remnants in my bedroom, reminders of their visit.
Although now that it's been nice out, well, when we've had the nice days, I've been taking out when I can, usually for a lunch break, the new tortoise out in the yard, take him out for a walk.
He likes the sun.
He does like the sun.
Yeah.
He'll explore the yard. Yeah, it's fun.
All right. Well, thank you very much, everyone. Do you have anything else you can think of for this coming up? All right. Well, thank you. Have a wonderful week, a wonderful Father's Day, everyone. We remember all our fathers, both living and deceased. So remember, white rose for the deceased.
White rose for the deceased.
Deceased father. Good to know. Good to know. And red for those who are living. Yeah. All right.
Great.
All right. Well, God bless. Thank you, everyone. Have a great week.
Question came in. How is the Catholic appeal doing?
Gee, I didn't look recently. So the annual Catholic appeal, I'm not sure when the last time we got a report back. I think we're doing okay.
Assume it's bad and you need to amp it up.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. It always takes us a long time to get our goal. We usually do. But thanks for asking. We'll doubly check for next week. Next week, although I think we might be okay. We haven't decided who's doing the 7 p.m. But the one who has the 7 p.m. Mass might have to leave a little bit early from Coffee and Donuts to get ready for that.
Oh, when we have the
outdoor Mass. Yeah. All right.
Okay.
All right. God bless everyone.
God bless you.
Thank you.
Nope.
Cheers.
Cheers.